Hello, very good morning to everybody, dear students. In the last class, we were discussing about highway lighting that is being the last article in traffic engineering. We came up to the mounting height as per the specification suggested by Indian Roads Congress. So here, this also is over already. The layout of lighting system on highways on straight stretch of the road, depending upon continuous light on one side or staggered on both the sides of the road, that could be possible. Even if the road is wider, then we can go for light at center line of the road. Even you can see in Kopargaon. This also over the spacing between the two light poles in case of straight is larger than the spacing of light lamps or lighting poles at intersections. And on gentle curve, the spacing will be larger than the sharp curve or in serpentine curves. So vertical aiming also we have seen, mounting height also we have seen, spacing of lighting units we came, and it is also seen. Once again we will refresh it. The spacing between the lamps on straight road is about 3 to 5 times the mounting height. For sharp curves, the spacing between lamp is closer for better visibility conditions. I have already mentioned it. That part of arrangement of lights on roads, you can see at intersection on straight stretch how the lighting poles are staggered. You can see from this figure and understand in a better way. Now spacing is continued. We'll continue with the spacing of lights. When more than one luminar or pole is required, then the distance between the two adjacent luminar or pole is 4 times the mounting height of the luminar or pole. If the mounting height of luminar pole is 8 meter, then the distance between adjacent luminar is 32 meters. Pole spacing is equal to 4 into mounting height. That will be equal to 4 into 8 meter pole, that is equal to 32 meter between the lamps. Clear? Next, coefficient of utilization. Coefficient of utilization. So in this case, a curve is plotted. A curve is plotted. This is street side. This curve is for street side. This curve is for house side. Street side, house side. Coefficient of utilization on y-axis and width of area on x-axis in meter. Coefficient of utilization curve will be useful in calculating the lamp lumex. So on x-axis we have to take ratio of width of area divided by mounting height. We know what is mounting height as per IRC specification, width of area. Also we know, therefore the ratio will be taken on x-axis, coefficient of utilization on y-axis. We can draw two curves, one for street side, another for house side. Then spacing is equal to lamp lumen multiplied by coefficient of utilization multiplied by maintenance factor divided by average lux multiplied by width of road. Once again, I will let you know, spacing between the two electrical poles can be calculated as the ratio of the product of lamp lumen, coefficient of utilization and maintenance factor divided by average lux multiplied by width of road. The coefficient of utilization is obtained from the above graph. The maintenance factor takes into account the decrease in the efficiency of the lamp with the age, and average value of about 80% may be assumed. Lighting layouts. Various types of layouts adopted for lighting poles on streets or highways are single side lighting, both side lighting opposite, both side lighting staggered, or central lighting. In Kopargaon, you can see from Sai Corner to bus stand, it is the pattern of or layout of central lighting. At center, the electrical poles are installed with two cantilever on either side so that it throws the light for both one-way roads. Single side lighting, usually in rural area, even in urban area with minor importance. Both side lighting opposite, definitely in case of urban area it is more important. Both side lighting staggered also is invariably employed. You can see all those lighting layouts from these photographs. From these photographs you can see all those lighting patterns. Central lighting, this also central lighting, this also, right? Benefits of highway lighting. There are so many benefits without which traffic cannot move on roads. Due to proper street lighting, the police can do better patrol during night time, and their job becomes easier and more manageable. Second benefit, increase in business in city or town during night which would otherwise have been totally deserted. If there is no provision of light, then business will shut down. That means the benefit is provision of lighting, business will increase. The architects and town planners have found lighting to be a major source for beautification of their projects. Due to good street lighting, there is a considerable reduction in accident rate during the night time. The illegal actions, important, illegal actions and antisocial activities on the roads or streets are certainly discouraged by improved lighting system. In the recent incidences which have been taken place in India, especially at Delhi, Hyderabad, that is Telangana, and other places, the antisocial activities and illegal actions on roads or streets definitely curtailed or discouraged by improving the lighting techniques and system. It has to be implemented. Then automatically such antisocial elements, incidences will be reduced. That is the good benefits of highway lighting. References. Textbooks. Khanna SK and Gesto CEG, Highway Engineering, Khanna Publishers. Kadiyali LR, Traffic Engineering and Transport Planning, Khanna Technical Publications. Other reference books, Indian Roads Congress IRC Specifications, Guidelines and Special Publications on Traffic Planning and Management, Guidelines of Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, Government of India, Subhash C. Saxena, a course in Traffic Planning and Design, Dalapat Roy Publications, and IS Indian Standard 2309/1989 Code of Practice for Protection of Building. These are the various books and textbooks and reference books are being used in order to prepare these PPTs. Thereby we completed traffic engineering full syllabus content as per your syllabus. But from the viewpoint of examination, how much syllabus is taken into consideration to set the question, Almighty God knows. Because in the semester scheme, that too, in sem exam and sem exam, this third unit will come in the in sem exam. Means 10 marks question will be picked up from each unit. So from this traffic engineering, unit 3, for 10 marks, 2 full questions means 5 marks each. Only 2 questions can be set from this huge amount of syllabus content. Which 2 questions, how it will be selected, God knows. That's why it is better to study whole syllabus content with interest. Something at least you can write because it is theoretical subject. If you keep listening the lectures with concentration and interest, definitely something at least you can write after you get prepared for the exams. Okay, best of luck. Have a nice day. We will stop here. We will continue with the new next unit, unit number 4, that is payment materials. As you are aware, any type of road construction can be made with basic materials, that is soil, aggregate, binder content, either bitumen or cement. Therefore, we can construct the roads with bituminous concrete road or cement concrete road. Bituminous concrete road comes under flexible pavement, whereas cement concrete road comes under rigid pavement. So in order to enhance the durability of the roads, whether it is bituminous concrete pavement or WBM road or any other type of roads, the good material should be used. How to assess the material which are better or good? Based on different properties to be tested in the laboratory by conducting the suitable tests on all the materials, that is soil, aggregate, bitumen. Whereas tests on cement is excluded in this subject because it is already being done in second year of the syllabus. Therefore, tests on cement material is not being included. Other tests on soil, aggregates and bitumen have been included. On soil, strength parameter we have to assess based on CBR test. On bitumen, various properties like specific gravity, penetration, softening point, ductility, viscosity of bitumen, and stability, flow value, durability, etc. on bituminous concrete mix, that is evaluated by conducting Marshall stability test. Whereas on aggregates, same specific gravity, impact test to evaluate the toughness property, hardness by abrasion test, water absorption, how far the material can absorb the water, what should be the maximum and minimum value so that it enhances the quality, and shape of the aggregate. They also do matter. Flakiness index and elongation index. Also, when compressive load is applied as a number of vehicles are moving on the road, heavy trucks, they will impose compression load or compressive load. That's why strength property of the aggregate will be evaluated by conducting crushing strength, crushing value of road aggregates, Los Angeles abrasion value to see or to know the hardness of the material, specific gravity and water absorption, shape test, flakiness index and elongation index. Soundness test also is mentioned in the syllabus, but it requires a lot of time. At least 2 days is required to complete the process of soundness test. That's why it is not practically feasible in undergraduate course. That's why we are not conducting it. Okay. So anyway, the theoretical part we will study in the next class. Thank you. Have a good day.